Hi, everybody. Good evening. Welcome to EduTALK. EduTALK is a virtual talk show happening weekly, and we feature people on the program who are making waves across the globe. Um, having a little bit of a challenge with my voice. Sorry. So with EduTALK, we featured educational initiatives and also perspectives that directly impact educational initiatives and students, as well as personnels working in schools and, top down or level up from K-12 to university. And my guest here this evening is Dr. Jowallah, who is my extended brother. I grew up in Jamaica, and he's no stranger to the program on EduTalk, as well as our network in ESI. Welcome again, Dr. Jowallah, to
Thank
EduTalk.
you. Thank you.
Yeah. Let's dive right into it because you're no stranger to this and watching all your feeds across social media, with AI and even the ethical perspective of how we manage the systems of AI and what we use it for, which is some positives in it. How do you see, based on our last conversation to now, how do you see the development in AI and across education? How is it, your perspective, how is it going?
I think when we look at the perspective and the landscape, and I would say that we had things going, and by 2022, 23, and 24, we have a rapid movement.
Mm-hmm.
Rapid movement has taken at every point of education, from K to 12 to higher education. We see that movement. And I want to say when we look at the movement, we have to say to ourselves, are we aligning policies and practice to ethical use of artificial intelligence? I'm
Yeah.
kind of concerned about that. So there's my thought, but I think the movement has been so rapid. In addition to that, I think some people are being left behind based on what I'm seeing.
All right. So good opening. Let's talk about the people who are being left behind. Who are some of these people we're talking about here?
I start with a phrase that I always use. AI is for all and not some. And what I see when I talk to people across the globe, I realize that some people have access to the technology and some don't.
Mm-hmm.
After roughly 2 years of having ChatGPT, there's some OpenAI and other language models. There are some people within certain specific age group, 40 and above, that have no idea of the power of these tools. Notwithstanding, their counterparts are using these tools to advance themselves. Their productivity has increased. And of course, someone struggling with these tools are going to be left behind. And that's where I see it. The technology is moving, as well as there's a cost. There's a cost factor that some people do not want to maybe subscribe to one of these elements. But at that point, I would say they are being disadvantaged.
Yeah. When I talk to people across the region, some of them will say, "No, I'm not gonna use that. It's very scary." Some even go as far as saying that AI is devil, is the devil come to take over the world. What's your perspective on that?
Well, you know that there are going to be some skeptics regarding artificial intelligence. But if
Mhm.
you're holding a phone in your hand that has AI in it, if you're taking a plane that has some AI algorithms in it, if you're buying something, they're pushing AI based on where your locality is and charging you a price. So AI is embodied in practically every system that we're using now. More, I would say, in another few years, it's going to be embedded in every aspect that is visible to you. I know there are some ideas regarding AI and AI having power to do certain
Yeah.
things, but within that concept or context, I want to see that humanity has a part to play. AI cannot do things on its own unless it's programmed to do that.
That's
And we have
important.
to be
Yeah.
aware of that.
Yeah.
Hence, we need human oversight. So while they might say that AI is, someone who say the Antichrist or something that is devilish in nature,
Yeah.
human nature has some elements that are deviant. And if you use a tool, you can move towards that realm. And
Mhm.
that is my fear. AI in the wrong hands can create problems in our society and can rip our very democracy apart if we are not careful.
Yeah. So, the So the people will be left behind are those without technological skills that is being offered now, either free online or paid for. And when I say free, I look at some of the AI systems and they're partially free. Some of the parts of it, for example, ChatGPT and Sin something that we use to make videos. Um, I forgot the last part of that term,
Mhm.
but
Temptation, I think.
yeah.
Yeah.
Um, do you think that the people are using the free version of these and is it keep does it contain the capability of helping people develop that savviness about this type of technology as we get more mature into it?
I think that's a brilliant way to look at it. They can have access, but
Yes.
can you have access to something that you don't even know it exists? And that is the point. Sometimes you will tell and show someone and they had no clue that that tool existed. And another thing that sometimes when you look at signing up for these products, sometimes it's difficult because you have to authenticate with your phone, you have to
Mhm.
go through the process, and it takes somewhat of technical skills. So I think as we go forward, we need to kind of educate the public regarding these tools and that they are available. Because what, why do I say this? Education is key. And take, for instance, the Caribbean and the wider Caribbean area, Jamaica, Barbados. When we look at these countries and we say, all right, we might not have the population affording a chat GPT individually, but there are free versions. We need to educate them to use the tools. But they can't know about the tools unless we educate them that these tools exist for them to try it and understand the nature. Within that context, too, it's going to be a new emergence of AI literacy skills. And I think I call it critical AI literacy skills because they need to understand that information they're putting in
Mhm.
and getting out might be two different stuff, right?
Yeah.
And think about how do we manage this AI system in countries that also struggle with literacy issues. So even in the United States, AI in the wrong hands for someone that is not critically literate, it will create problems in the Caribbean too. So we have to educate the population where the tools are, what they can do, the capabilities, the limitations, and of course, how they're going to use it to enhance their lives. These are key
Yeah.
components in moving forward.
Yeah, definitely. Because I'm even thinking about in mathematics or science, what we can use it to do and generate certain uh, solutions to problems. But what happens when it reaches in the wrong hands? And it's in the wrong hands, and they use it to generate something that is not helpful, but is destructive to people. And that's where we talk about the ethics of it and how we manage that one. It's a very deep concern with even national security.
Yes, yes. I was saying to someone earlier today regarding the problems with AI, and I
Mhm.
painted a picture regarding a system that is set up to ensure that people around the world get food. It makes an assessment based on your value that you have towards society.
Yes.
If that system were to say, all right, I'm going to distribute based on the importance of how much money you can make and contribute to society, what will happen to those who have been disenfranchised?
Hmm.
And of course, if the AI system is making those decisions without human intervention, we have problems. And let us not forget that the data sets created already have been biased by the very creators of these data sets. We have populations that have not been represented in these data sets, and we still struggle for even certain things because data is driving us to that. Let us not forget the 2008 crash in the United States because of people being targeted because of their ethnicity and so forth.
Hmm.
There are many things that we have to consider within the AI realm because AI is just not built on data today, it's built on historical data. And if you look at poor houses in the United States, how they were created and how the data was moved to databases and how it now becomes a part of the system, then we'll understand that is historically, it's systematic. That's
Yeah.
my
That's
point.
some serious, serious problems then, because if it's built on basically human intervention and
Mhm.
the propensity of taking human input and
Yes,
giving
definitely.
something that, because they would say that it's your thinking partner. It's your collaborator. So it's basically having somebody as your assistant walking around with and getting information from them.
Yes, and that's why we're going to have guardrails at some points to make sure that if you're using a descriptor or a statement that is out of context, that can stop, right? And of course, AI content will be eventually vetted based on what's happening now. We can't just run away without certain legislation. And I think globally, we need to do that. We have United Nations coming up with some wonderful policies regarding that too. And I think we have to lead. But one of the things that I realized that as we navigate the world, regarding AI, some countries do not want to have such a restrictive policy because
Yeah.
that would limit innovation. And that is where we are. But notwithstanding, when we think about ethics too, because I want to dig a bit deeper, I struggled for roughly maybe 6 months trying to conceptualize that AI needed more than just ethics. Ethics is one because we think about the issue of plagiarism and so forth. We think about moral responsibility. But when we think about from a teaching and learning perspective too, we dig deeper and then we have another section that deals with, designing AI responsible tools. We have another section that talks about data protection as it relates to that. We talk about humanity because AI is not here to replace human individuals, but to enhance them. And of course, we might say there's going to be some displacement. Notwithstanding, we should upskill these individuals to take on the roles. So
I,
when we look at ethics, we're talking about security too, security of information and data protection, as stated before. So the element is deeper, and understanding the foundation pillars that underline ethics is going to be important in navigating.
I like the point you make about not replacing humans, but to enhance the capabilities of humanity. Because we're always looking to progress through our generations or our lifetime and to one generation, from one generation to the next. So the people who are thinking about AI is going to come to replace me, they're the ones who are going to be left behind as it relates to capabilities and advancement in their own systems.
I think so because I put a situation. You're in charge of 50 individuals at your workplace. I'm in charge of the same 50. You have a different department. I have mine. You have not used AI. I've used AI to write to 50 of my employees, and I've given them 50 individualized letters. You have to go humanly, go through one, send it off. And of course, I've tailored each one by putting three dominant sentences that I want the AI to write. You have to sit down and craft every single letter. And sometimes because you have not changed the name on the file, you might get the incorrect letter. So, so what I'm saying is the capacity for productivity. And when your boss come or my boss come and they start the evaluation, they'll say one of us didn't do their work properly because listen, I can't believe you had so much to do and James or whoever did so much and the other one is not productive. Although you have been productive in your own zone and we can't say that you haven't, I've used some little tricks on my sleeve and got no. And by the way, I had more time to play my soccer to go to karate and fish while you were still struggling. It's not like you weren't working, but I was just working smarter at that
Yeah,
point.
yeah.
Yeah.
So you have traveled, that's very true. You have traveled too in Europe and the Caribbean, done workshops among teachers. What exactly are they saying though from their perspective? What are they saying when you see these people in conferences, and you present in several conferences as well across the region? What are you hearing?
I think there are several things coming up. One, there's an individual who runs away with AI without even thinking about ethical use. There's an individual that say, you know what, I don't want to touch it because there are some ethical issues there. I'm concerned about academic integrity.
Mhm.
And of course, there's a concern about job loss as it relates to replacing them. I showed someone something the other day and they said to me, what about your job? And I said, I'm not worried about my job. And that's why I'm doing what I'm doing. I'm showing you something that is possible with me because I'm going to leverage something else. So I think that those are possibilities, but some are saying, you know what? we are not ready for this because the curriculum is not designed for that. We have not thought about it. We are not getting the support. So many things they're saying. And we need funding because these applications cost money. And the country or countries that advance by putting up some money for these development and, of course, new tools that are arriving
Mm-hmm.
will find leverage. Notwithstanding, I want to say, Dr. Dice, that an important factor that I have left out is the issue of critical thinking in using AI. AI has a power to do certain things, yes, with our capacity. Notwithstanding, if we have not developed our critical thinking, how to use a tool and understand the capabilities and the limitations, we'll not go anywhere with it. It's just a tool, which brings me to the point. If I say to you, if all the cars were painted yellow, what a wonderful world it would be. And I said, no, it's boring. It's not good enough for me. I want variety. Now, if someone is not using AI and just putting a sentence to get a letter, then we have the same letters, right? Floating around for job recommendations and course recommendations. But if we put our creative ability in it and write a couple sentences about someone that's specific to that individual and the relationship that we have built, then it becomes a unique letter.
Yes.
However, if you're using it just as a tool to send me a letter because I'm going to be late, the employer will get the same letter all the time. And people know that you have not given a critical thought. So those who can demonstrate that they're using the tool to optimize their productivity and using critical thinking in that way will advance themselves as well.
Yeah, I truly believe that. And too, with the critical thinking is a massive part of it too.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah, let's as we close down, give us a little bit about your work, because I know you build courses online as well as doing the seminars that you're doing, you're leading workshops. You have a very heavy presence on social media because you look at these as technology for us to use, just to use to make sure that you
Yeah.
reach the masses and communicate across the different areas, and help people to understand that these things are necessary for development. So what exactly are you working on now with your courses online? You have online courses that you build. You're working with different AI systems to generate various content. Tell us about them.
I think I'd like to start back when I started this journey in 2019. The journey was basically to share information because I realized that that window was not available on some situations in some institutions. So I wanted to share. And after making that commitment, I just started to produce content. I started to look more into artificial intelligence. My first video was produced in 2019. And I just made a pledge to share. And you were on that journey because I think you started me out too. I can't take that away. Because I remember you saying to me, you need to do a presentation here. And that's why I'm always willing to share because sharing is caring too. Because by showing you that I turn up, many doors have opened as a result of that.
Mhm.
But most importantly, I think I still continue that mission of doing so in course development, offering workshop. I went to UN in, was it March? I went to Jamaica, went to the Grand Caymans to do presentations. I'm going back to Jamaica to next month to do another presentation there. I'm doing one for New York. So I've been
Yeah.
blessed because the doors have been opened by consistently working at something and delivering content and being truthful to content delivery. I do offer courses online and I can send a link over to you. But these courses, some are free, some are available for a fee because I think it's important at the same time to cover some expenses. For the last 5 years, I want to say that I've possibly spent hundreds of dollars just to explore
Yeah.
tools, critical thinking about them. And my research is going on. I have a coming book that I want to release very shortly. It's going to
Yes.
really touch on some critical issues that I've been thinking about. They're going to make connections to my videos and go greater into details I've given there because I think it's important. But most importantly, I view the world as something that young individuals and other people can get involved in. At this point, I think individuals like us sometimes you're missing as it relates to the platform, and we
Yeah.
want to bring that platform to people who want to know. And
Mm.
that's why, regardless, I said to someone recently, you've asked for consultation. I don't charge for the consultation because you want to get on board with using AI. And that was the mission. And my
Yeah.
mission is still there because I think there's a greater mission to educate individuals. I don't want the Caribbean people to be left behind, nor
Yeah.
anyone in the United States to be left behind, or to be in such a position that they cannot work productively by having access to these tools. And that's what I'm advocating and will continue to advocate for.
Yeah, definitely. It's a community thing. It's very much. What's the platform you have your course on? The one that you built?
Lifespan,
Lifespan. Mm.
lifespan, and I'll send you over that
Yeah,
information.
drop
Yeah,
drop the link
I'll
below
drop
in
it.
the YouTube. Yeah, so people can go over there and check it out. It's
Yes.
very good.
But I
Um,
want to say also before that is I have a co-partner working with that with me, and also she has a very active hand and she does a lot of the back end part of it and of course development wise. But you have to form mergers and partnerships in
yeah.
order to ensure things are running. Yes.
Yeah, yeah, and I check it out too. I think it's very good. It's top-notch course. It's world class. Even the platform too is easy to navigate. It's very similar to people who have done courses on Udemy or MIT platform online. If you have done courses on those platforms, it's very similar, easy to navigate, and the information that you provide there is very good. We have principals who have been a part of our conferences and teachers who have completed the courses, and they commended you and the platform, that is a really good platform, and they were easily easily the way that they navigate it, and the content is relevant to their area of development, because they're into educational leadership and they want to put some of these AI systems and knowledge of the systems to work to work for them. And I mean, it's remarkable. So it's very
And
cool.
that one was free and still is free.
Yeah, so so people can go on and check it out. Yeah.
Yes.
We'll drop the link
Yeah,
below.
no worries.
Yes. Thank you so much, Dr. Jowallah, for coming on. Really a pleasure. And we're always gonna touch base because I know as things progress, we always have more new development for people to latch on to and become a part of it.
Thanks for having me. Thanks.
Yes. Thank you so much. Viewers, thank you so much for coming on EduTalk. This has been EduTalk. If you want to write to us at edusolutionsintl at gmail.com. That's edusolutionsintl at gmail.com. Or if you want to visit our website, is edusolutionsintl.org. That's edusolutionsintl.org. Or if you want to Google us, Education Solutions International, and you'll find us right there on the World Wide Web. We will see you next week with another edition of EduTalk. Please enjoy the month of October. Find something to do before it gets really cold outside. And if you're in that area of the world that is always warm, you can also find something to do that is very cool and educational. Talk to you soon. Bye, everybody. Take care.